and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Jonah and his emotions as a human being. Now, if you don't know the story of Jonah, I think everybody does, going to Sunday school, and it's just a well-known story. Jonah was a prophet that was supposed to preach to the city of Nineveh, and he didn't want to go. He refused to go because the people there were not doing anything good in God's eyes. They were cursing God. They were in a lot of sin. And so Jonah, with his small understanding of a human being, he looks at this city and he says, this is not fair. I'm not going over there. I'm not preaching the gospel to them because I know God, and he's merciful and he's forgiving. And as soon as they cry out to him, he's going to forgive them. And so, as an act of rebellion, he put his foot down and he ended up going to Tarshish, right? Is that how you say it in English? I hope so. But he goes to another city instead. And on his way there, in this boat full of people who don't know God, as he's going over there, there is a huge storm. And he knows why there is a huge storm. It's because of him. So he says, basically, hey guys, I'm the one causing the storm because I'm the one disobedience with God. Throw me out of the boat and the storm will stop. So they did. They threw him out of the boat and the storm stopped. But of course, a great fish ate him up. And in 3 days' time, the fish kind of vomited him out. And he had to go and preach the gospel to the people. And of course, the people of Nineveh, they repented. They realized what they had done wrong, and they asked God for forgiveness, and God forgave them. But now, here in chapter 4, where we're going to talk about, Jonah is very angry. He did not like it. He knew that this was going to happen, and he did not like the outcome because he just knew how loving of a God he was serving, and that's why he didn't want to go. It says, but it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he became angry. Now, one of the things that the Lord says to Jonah after a while in verse 4, we see that he says, is it right for you to be angry? Is it right for you to be angry? The Lord, when Jonah was resting, makes a plant grow out of the ground to give him shade. And then God himself sends a worm to kill that plant. Because from the acids of the fish, Jonah, historians say that his flesh was raw. And so the sun beating down on his flesh must have hurt a lot. But Jonah was still angry. And look at what God says in verse 10. After asking him, is it right for you to be angry about the plant? Verse 10, God says, but the Lord said, you have had pity on the plant for which you have not labored, nor made it grow, which came up in a night and perished in a night. And should I not pity Nineveh, that great city, in which are more than 120,000 persons who cannot discern between their right hand and their left, and much livestock? This is what God was saying, and this is what I had to contemplate within myself, and I want you to do the same. God was asking Jonah basically this. Listen, they are my creation. I get it. They're not doing things that are right. They're not following the rules. They're not keeping the word. I get it. They're in sin, and it seems unjust. It seems unfair that I would forgive and give a second, third, fourth, 50th chance to this one person or these people because they keep going back to the same thing. They keep sinning. But listen, they're the apple of my eye. I created them. They're my people. They're my children. Every single time that they sin, every single time that they do something wrong, that they fail, they're crying over there because they're suffering the consequences of their own disobedience. Every single time, my heart hurts for them because I'm their father. I want the best for them. I love them. I want to see them happy. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them in the right path. But every single time that they do that, it hurts me. How? How do I just stand around and do nothing? They're my children. Is it okay? Is it right for you to be angry? They're sinning against me. They're sinning against my word. They're saying stuff against me. They're not saying stuff against you, Jonah. They're not sinning against you, Jonah. They're sinning against me as their creator. And as their creator, don't I have a say in who I save and who I don't? Who I help and who I don't? They're not doing anything to you, so what is it to you if you preach the gospel and they get saved? Why does it matter to you if I have mercy on them and I forgive them and I give them another chance? The things that they're doing is against you. It's against me, not against you. Look at everything that I've done in your own life. Look at all of the times that I've had to have mercy on your life. Look at all the times that I've had to forgive you because you weren't walking right. Look at Jonah. I told you to go preach and you didn't go preach. You disobeyed me. So what's the difference between you and them? You disobeyed me and you went to another city and you caused devastation to a boat that wasn't even yours, to a people that didn't even believe in me. What's the difference? And yet I went and I saved you. And I taught you a lesson because I'm your father. But you don't want to go teach them? The same way I've taught you and I've guided you and I've forgiven you, I want to give it to them. So what's the problem? And here's the thing, you guys. I wrote in my Bible as like a little Bible study, I asked myself, what have I been irrationally angry about? What are those things, those circumstances, those situations in my life, those people maybe that I have been irrationally angry about? Sometimes it's inside the church and you see pastors or you see other members that they haven't even been there that long and they're getting more opportunities than you have. Maybe you have been working hard for the church and for your leaders and serving, and it's not that you want a position or you want praise or look at me, but you see other people that have not been doing nearly as much or at all or are new, and they're getting more attention, they're getting more positions, they're getting more trust from your leaders than you have, right? And so it makes you upset, it makes you hurt, it makes you irrationally angry. Maybe it's somebody at your job that you're seeing that's getting a praise. Maybe it's a situation in your life with people in your life that you say, man, it's just not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair that I've been studying the Bible for years and years and years, and here's this person that just started and now they have more knowledge than me, and everybody's like, wow, it's not fair. It's not fair that God is using this person in this manner way more than me, and yet I'm the one with a calling. It's not fair. It's not fair that fill in the blank. And we become irrationally angry. Or sometimes God tells you to serve somebody that is below you, right? Because you're supposed to help them get to a position where they're going to be above you in the level, you know? And you say, God, but that's not fair. I should be going to the next level, not this person. There are so many circumstances in our lives, whether it be in church or family or at work, that we, with our small understanding, we say, Lord, it's not fair, and we become irrationally angry about stuff. I made a list of my own. But there are things that we all will become irrationally angry. And I had to ask myself, why? Why am I feeling this way about this person? Why am I irrationally angry about this situation? What is it that's causing that? And for me personally, when I had a one-to-one with myself and I was honest with myself, it was because I knew deep down that I wasn't doing everything that I could be doing with my time, with the knowledge that I had, with the resources that I had. It came from a place of insecurity. It came from a place of people pleasing. It came from a place of my past triggers of just unworthiness. It had nothing to do with these people or these situations. It was just me projecting that. Because it's so much easier for us to be irrationally angry with other people than for us to face our insecurities and face our past and face those things that are those feelings. And so I want you to try that exercise. Ask yourself, what are you angry about? And then ask yourself why. What is really causing? What is really at the root cause of that anger? And you're going to find that it has nothing to do with that. It really doesn't. For Jonah, maybe it was pride, maybe it was his own insecurities, I don't know. But Jonah was acting irrationally angry at this point about those people. Of course, we know that the story of Jonah reflects or is a reference, a future reference to the death of Christ, right? Where he spends 3 days dead. But Jonah there was judging with his own eyes. And when we do that, when we become irrationally angry about something or someone, we tend to forget our own weaknesses. We tend to forget everything that God has done for us. Oh God, but it's not fair that you are forgiving so-and-so or that you're still using so-and-so. What about you? How many times has God had to forgive you? How many times has he had to be with you and teach you? How many times has he had to send a Jonah to preach to you to get you back? And now you're the one being sent to preach to other people or to help other people or be a light towards other people or whatever it may be, and you don't want to do it because that's not fair. But God says, what we need to understand is, and what we need to remember is that God is our Father. Me, as a mom, I have 2 kids. And sometimes I get angry at my kids and I, guide them and I yell at them and everything so that they can start walking straight again. But if they go and they do something wrong, I'm going to forgive them one time or time and time again. I'm going to keep on forgiving them because they're my children. That's how God thinks. Yes. And when my kids get hurt, that hurts me. If somebody says something against my kids, that's going to hurt me. Mama bear is going to come out. And it's the same way with God, that we have to understand and we have to remember. We say it's unfair for God to keep forgiving Nineveh. We say it's unfair for God to keep forgiving the Israelites. We say it's unfair for God to keep forgiving certain people in our lives. We think it's unfair. We don't understand why he doesn't just call it quits with them. But he's the Father. It hurts him. We are all his creation, that he did it with so much love, and he had so many dreams for each one of us, and it just hurts him. How can he just turn his back on us? He can't. When we are preaching the gospel and we are trying to be a light into the world, even when it seems unfair and we don't understand it, we need to follow through with what God is telling us to do. And remember where he took us from. Because you may be the voice that they need to hear so that they can be forgiven as well. We need to remember that just as we are a child of God and we have received his mercy every single day, they also deserve his mercy. They are also his children. It's not for us to judge. The things that they are doing, they're not doing against you. The things that they are sinning at, the things that it's unfair, it's not against you, it's against him. So let him deal with the consequences. Let him deal with all of the stuff that they're doing. It has nothing to do with you. In its right time, if you obey and you do what you have to do, God will put you in that position if he has promised you that. God will bless you accordingly. God will help you and provide you accordingly. You focus on you doing what God has told you to do. Whether it's unfair or not, whether they deserve it or not, that's not up to you to decide. Because what they're doing is against God, and God is their creator. That's not up to you. You're just a vessel for God's word to get to them. So I highly recommend doing that exercise and figuring out, maybe it's not angry, maybe you're hurt. Maybe ask God, what have I been irrationally angry about? God, what have I been irrationally hurt about? Disappointed about? And make a list, be honest with yourself of those people, and then ask yourself why. Because maybe it's you needing to step up or forgive some people. Think about it. Is it right for you to be angry?